In the same vein that somebody can steal your story, it is also possible that you probably had the same idea as somebody else. My name is Shania Banton, and I have been a filmmaker for the past 11 years, and I have been a full-time director, writer, and producer for going on 3 years now. And on today's OnSet Talks, I'm going to talk about protecting yourself in this industry. And when I'm talking about protecting yourself, I'm talking about on two different scales. You as an indie filmmaker are working with larger studios and production companies, and then also when you as an indie filmmaker are working with your peers, other indie filmmakers. So starting with working with larger production companies and the Hollywood of the world. It is very common that there are people in Hollywood who strip and steal and get inspired by other people's stories, tales, lives, and realities. It is very common. It happens all the time. Some of your favorite movies and shows may have been stolen. There is a possibility. And the thing is, the people who have the most money usually always win in this instance. Another reason why is there's legalities, IP, things that you as an individual who just had this creative idea may not have done to protect said creative idea, thus allowing it to be legally stolen. It's possible, it happens. However, I want us all to accept the fact that in the same vein that somebody can steal your story, it is also possible that you probably had the same idea as somebody else. I get it, I understand. We all want to be innovative, we all want to be groundbreaking storytellers, we all want to have the most unique idea that nobody has ever thought of, known, seen to man, whatever the case may be. I understand that, I get that. I too feel like that about my own ideas until I started meeting people who had similar themes, similar plots, and what gave me comfort in meeting those people who may have had stories that are set up in the same vein as mine. What made me feel comfort was that mine was unique to me. Mine was unique enough so somebody can tell me that they had a specific story and I was like, oh, that sounds similar, but oh, no, that's different. Mine tells a different story, tells a different lesson, teaches something different. Mine is going to show up differently. Yours is always going to be unique to you. In all of this, if there's anything that you gather, please understand that at the end of the day, your unique experience in this industry will always and forever be yours. That's the only way to protect yourself, is to remember that. But let's go to the legal side. It is very possible that somebody came up with similar ideas to yours. Yes, it is very possible. It's very possible that that person who had a similar idea to yours was more connected and that person was able to sell that idea and get it produced. Yeah, and possibly in theaters and possibly on television. All of this is possible. But ways that you can protect you and your story are, once you have a script and you are in the stage where you are ready to share this script with potential investors, studios, and or production companies, you definitely want to make sure that you copyright your script. It is possible to copyright your script. Please go and look it up. There are so many different websites that you are able to trademark and copyright your script. You can do it through the union, WGA, depending on which coast you're on, the East or the West, or you can do it with the actual Trademark Commission of the United States. But always make sure that you're doing your due diligence to at least stake legal claim to your completed script and to your completed story. Once you have done that, other things that you can do to protect yourself: put watermarks on your scripts, make sure that you put the fact that it's copyrighted in the cover of your script, and also have discernment in who you are trusting your script with. Have people sign NDAs. Now, that's not to say that any of these legal steps that you're taking is going to guarantee the fact that nobody can steal your story, but what it will do is protect you. It will protect you in the case that somebody does blatantly flat out steal your story and you're able to produce and you're able to prove without a shadow of a doubt that that story is yours and that that person got it from you specifically. And the only way for you to protect yourself and to prove that you own that story is by taking those steps. Copyright it, trademark it, watermark it, put it on the cover. Now, I think the biggest chunk of this lesson is going to come from, shockingly, the indie filmmaker to indie filmmaker route, your peer co-working scenarios. Because when it comes down to protecting yourself, when it comes to another indie filmmaker, the main thing that you want to use is your discernment. Because when it comes down to working with other indie filmmakers, you want to make sure that you are utilizing your discernment at the highest degree. Because in a lot of these cases, you'll have people who may or may not understand the industry in the same way that you do. So when people talk about networking and working across, you want to make sure that the individuals that you are working with are within your same network, that they have your same experience, that they have your same understanding about how production is run. I have worked with and come across many people who work in production. The way that they have been on set is different different than the way that I have been on set. They have been on set in certain capacities in which they may not had to follow all the rules, right? Maybe the rules didn't apply to their set, because every set is ran differently. There's no right or wrong way, but there is a professional way and there's an unprofessional way, in my personal opinion. Maybe if there's somebody who's used to unprofessional set, they think that's the norm, and then they're going to come to you with their unprofessionalism, and now you have to use your discernment to figure out whether or not that is a person you want to work with. But the only way that you're going to find that out is to do research on the people you are working with. A lot of the times you're finding indie filmmakers meeting somebody else who is just simply interested in working with them, and then you're like, yes, I'm just excited somebody's willing to help me, but you don't actually do your research to see if they're qualified to help you. I understand that some people are greener than others in this industry. I understand that some people are newer than others in this industry, but that does not mean that everybody is qualified to still work with you, because at the end of the day, what you have at stake may not be the same thing that they have at stake. I see it way too often where people do public calls to every and anybody saying, I want to work with you, just hit me up, let's talk about it, let's see this. And I'm not saying that that's a bad idea, because how else do you meet other people that could potentially be great to work with? When you are doing that, make sure that you're not just happy to be there and saying yes to every and anything. Make sure that you're actually doing research about the people who you are deciding to give your time, energy, and in some cases money to. Okay? Because in these open calls that I see, I'll just see every Joe Schmo in there saying, oh yeah, I got an idea here, I got an idea here. And then you end up signing up for something that you will end up regretting later. I have worked with people who have told me for years that they are so interested in being a filmmaker. And the moment I was able to help them and put them in a filmmaker position, what happened? Things started to crumble. I started to see things for what they truly were. You don't want to be in those situations. You don't want to be in a position where you are working with somebody, giving your time and your energy, and then you slowly start to realize that they were never in it at all, that they were never actually invested in this, that they were doing this out of ego, they were doing this out of sheer joy, maybe. And yes, that is okay. But if you are a person who is looking to take this extremely seriously and is hoping that each thing that you give your time and your energy to is either helping you learn or move yourself forward, make sure that you are utilizing your discernment for any and everything that you are dedicating your time to. It is important as an indie filmmaker to do so, because you never know when the next project will be your last, just because you're tired of what this industry has. So be very specific, be particular about who and where you choose to work.